Forgive me, everybody. I fell asleep because who knows when everything is happening.
No idea.
I blame my haircut.
It's random. So yeah, as sure as it is that this obnoxious guy is going to be telling me on YouTube whenever I turn on any video that I'm doing the wrong things health-wise and exercise-wise, we're here with another podcast here on the Podcast Network. It's award season, and that means that we're going to be talking about an award show that doesn't necessarily have a home right now, to say the least.
And we're not talking about the Golden Globes because that was a few weeks back.
Yeah, we do have it. So the notes that I'm seeing is it's supposed to be on the CW. I know nothing more than that. No one knows nothing. Take a shot. No one knows nothing. Take a shot. No one knows nothing more than that.
I was thinking I saw something about TBS also picking them up this year.
TBS is good people.
TBS and CW were supposed to be simulcasting it, yeah.
It makes sense.
But I've checked, and apparently you have to sit through Rise of Skywalker instead. Or hang on, maybe it's Star Wars Episode 4. I can't remember which when I looked at the schedule. It's one of the two.
There's a big difference between those two.
They're showing 7, 8, and 9 back to back, and then randomly 4, and then showing 9 again. Which probably tells you in the schedule where maybe the award ceremony was supposed to go originally. I'm not sure.
Well, it's a weird way to start off the show. Cold open, restaurant quality, ladies and gentlemen, just like always. My name is Owen. Joining me as always, we have, well, he's got a new haircut, apparently. That's Ashley.
I can't say what I want to say because you're not allowed to swear within the first few minutes of a video starting.
When the heck has that stopped you?
Where's my effing gold, Jeff? Where's my effing gold?
Hey, Ashley, ask Effie.
Yeah, that's a point. I just realised. Oh, wow, I actually missed my own joke. Oh. You can tell.
Oh, yes. Effie is fine. And so is Ashley. Also joining us today, we have AJ.
Yeah, it's Critics' Choice, so anybody that's been with us for a while knows how I feel about this show, so yay.
Yeah, it's about as much as we think of the People's Choice Awards, too. Because, to be fair, if you want to talk about Critics' Choice, critics should be voting for these awards, and so they could, say, hey, anybody with a YouTube channel would be able to vote. That's not a thing.
Yeah.
Well, and obviously we've got, 70 categories, and about 15 of those will actually air, so
Yep.
It's all, yeah. I don't know.
So Brian is in chat, mentioned he's having a late birthday cupcake and a piece of cake he got at work today.
Ooh, a piece of candy.
Very cool. All of us have many moons before our birthdays are coming, so happy late birthday, Brian.
I was gonna say nice James Woods reference, but is James Woods a swear word these days?
Ooh.
He might be.
Lots of things are.
Who knows? People keep talking about various other condemned people every time I go on social media.
And these dumb marks trying to cast away Patton Oswalt now makes me very angry, so there you go. So,
yeah, we should probably pivot as quick as possible.
Thank the Academy. So, oh yeah, let's go back in the time. Stream greatest hits. Anyway, so yeah, that's where we got now. So yeah, a lot of things have been going on since we last left you. Thanks again, everyone, for checking out our last Oscar predictions of the year. And we're going to get our entire categories at the end of this month. But before we go there, we got to do this Critics' Choice, Steez. So needless to say, thank you for joining us tonight, whether live or in archive. And we're going to talk about like I said, the homeless, literally, Critics' Choice Awards. So we don't know if it's going to be shown on television. We don't know if it's going to have any sort of ceremony of any type. All we know that it will happen. And
no, we don't.
Right.
It's the official worded is delayed to a to be confirmed date because they are that determined to have it in person.
Ah. So it's the year 2029, if anybody still gives a crap. Anyway. And that's a reference I wanted to make, but I wasn't going to curse, so there you go. You're welcome, who's listening that understands what I just said. Basically, what we're going to do now is we're going to predict all of these huge amount of categories, and we're going to see where we go. So we have already done several podcasts for this season. This is another prediction show. Now, granted, what we're doing now, just like we did with the Globes, is we're trying to predict the categories and the winners, in this case, of these categories. When we do this, we've had this competition throughout years, and AJ's won, Ashley's won, I've won, we've won, a couple of us have won numerous times. It's a fun little competition we have to try to determine who's going to be the best at predicting the season. So that's where we're leading into right now. So let's get into this, everyone. So I would get with the television awards first. We can knock the stuff out of the way that I have absolutely no stake in whatsoever, because Heels isn't nominated for anything. Continue.
I got a little sliver of things that I'm rooting for here, but not many.
There is one thing I just want to quickly mention, because apparently it's already happened. Happened in November.
Oh.
The Critics' Choice Documentaries Award, of which practically everything was won by Summer of Soul, bar Best Director when it was co-shared with Summer of Soul and The Rescue.
Mm-hmm.
And then Best Short Documentary went to Queen of Basketball, which I think is in the short list. Although so is Borat's American Lockdown, so it didn't win. Borat's American Lockdown didn't win. It's just like that's interesting. But yeah. But I'm guessing we're starting with TV, AJ.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right. So are we just starting?
Might as well.
Sure. Let's do this.
All right. From the bottom up, I guess we're starting with Best Comedy Special.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, an easy one.
Okay.
We have Bo Burnham Inside, Good Timing with Joe Firestone, James A. Castor, Cold Lasagna, Hate Myself, 1999, Joelle Nicole Johnson, Lovejoy, Nate Bargatze, The Greatest Average American, and Trixie Mattel, One Night Only. There's only one that I've seen here, and it's the one I'm going to go with, not only because of that, but also because it seems to be the only thing here that was like kind of a big deal that you heard a lot about from a lot of people, so I am easily going with Bo Burnham.
What do you got, Ashley?
Same. I think when we talked about it last week, or a few weeks back, when I mentioned sort of the other things, or no, I think it was when the nominations came out, and we basically went, so this is basically Bo Burnham plus 5 others, right? So yeah, unsurprisingly, I'm going with Inside.
I don't know any of these other competitors in this case. I do know one, the Trixie Mattel, I think might be a sleeper here. I hear a lot about Trixie Mattel, and I think that's a possible.
This is literally the first time I've heard that name.
I will not go into how I know that name. Not on here, at least.
I can't be trusted with what I know and what I don't know most of the shit in the whole TV area. So
let's just say I have friends or former friends that actually like Trixie Mattel and would support winning this category. and there's a big fan base. So I think it's possible. I don't know any of these other J Brones.
This,
Them in my
this,
life.
this was the category that had a tie last year, right? It was Seinfeld and somebody else.
Yeah, I believe so.
That could always happen, I guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Pro Burnham here.
All right. Talk show.
Sure.
We have Amber Ruffin, Desus and Mero, the Kelly Clarkson, John Oliver, Seth Meyers, and Andy Cohen. I don't know if this is just an Emmys thing or not. I really don't remember. But he seems to win almost everything, so I'm just going to say John Oliver.
Ashley.
I've just looked into it. The last time he actually won was 2016. Since then, we had Corden, Kimmel, a tie with Corden and Seth Meyers, and last year it was Seth again. I also would be going with John Oliver, but I sort of, from the clips that I've seen, because of how very viral they've become, I'm hoping this is actually an Amber Ruffin thing. Because I think she's done a very good job of doing the same stuff as what John Oliver does, but mainly around awareness of BLM and other sort of diversity issues and things like that.
I mean, I hate to have to concur with the panel, but I mean, I don't know any of these other people. I mean, Kelly Clarkson is a possible chance. I could see that happening. Seth Meyers apparently could possibly get 3 in a row. We'll see if that happens. And I don't know who Amber Ruffin is because I guess I don't follow the right things. Needless to say,
I think she's kind of a spinoff from Seth Meyers, isn't she?
Don't watch Seth Meyers.
Well, considering it's Peacock, it does make sense.
Don't watch Seth Meyers.
I used to watch Seth Meyers weekly, but then the news just got really exhausting and depressing, so I didn't. So I stopped.
I watch Conan and Letterman. I don't care about anybody else. Yeah, we're going with John Oliver here.
All right. Gee, I wonder what category exists now.
Brian did mention something that we might want to throw into consideration. They do go with ties on this every once in a while. That being said, we go into the next category.
Yeah. As I was saying, I wonder why this category exists. I can't quite put my finger on it. I don't know why they would suddenly add this category this year.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's going to be something specific that wins. I mean, the thing is this going to work the same way the movies do? Because as we know, when the movies have separate categories with big players in them, usually the big players don't win. They go for the one that kind of fits more into the category.
Right.
But like I said, if I don't remember this category before, so I'm assuming they added it for
a brand new category.
All right, then this will be.
I think it's honestly because of the pressure of like what's happened with the Oscars, the fact that international things have been getting a lot more praise and attention compared to standard Western things. So I think it's just a chance to highlight that yes, stuff does come from out of places other than the UK and America in terms of television programs, not just movies.
I'm gonna go ahead and say the full title of the category.
Yeah.
Best foreign language series, sponsored by Netflix. So.
and then the first candidate is Apple TV.
So we have Acapulco, Apple TV, and then the rest is all Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Call My Agent, Lupin, Money Heist, Narcos Mexico, and Squid Game. I know Money Heist is super popular also.
Yeah.
I know Omar Sy getting that Globe nomination for Lupin, but and Narcos is big too. But I honestly feel like the reason they even made this category was because of Squid Game. So I'm going with Squid Game.
Yeah,
Ashley.
I think this is probably Squid Game, considering how much praise it did get.
it's a way to give it a win without having it take an extremely important category down the line. So I feel that again, it's that word I throw around. I don't throw it around this early. It's visibility. So yeah, Squid Game. But real quick, another point that Brian brings up as we went from the last category is Conan did not get in here for his last season.
Award shows just really don't take to Conan for some reason.
I've noticed that. Yeah, it's a shame.
The critics don't like him, I guess. I'm trying to see. Conan. The last time Conan was. They didn't even do one in 2019. I've just noticed. Wow, even Graham Norton was nominated in 2015. Yeah, 2014 and 2012, 2013, and 2014 is the only time Conan has been nominated for this award since it was established in 2011. So
I don't know why this isn't just the Graham Norton category, because it really just should have been.
that's the again. That's no. 2016 was. Yeah, 2016 was Graham Norton. He hasn't been nominated since. Yet Corden's practically in every bloody year. Oh, it wasn't last year. Thank God.
Yeah, what was that, Owen? You were saying about the People's Choice Awards? That's where we're at.
Yeah, I got you, 100%.
All right, animated series.
Sure.
We got Big Mouth, Bluey, Bob's Burgers, The Great North, Q-Force, and What If. I mean, I guess a couple of these stand out, but just going on the popularity contest, I would say What If.
Ashley.
I'm gonna say Bluey, because I don't know whether there's because some of the episodes of What If were sort of average, and then others were really good, and it's the case of whether overall it's worthy. When obviously some of them are maybe a bit messy in places. But I've just been hearing a lot of good things about Bluey.
This is one of those categories of like I have absolutely not only no stake in, but I don't have any knowledge of any of these shows. I have never watched an episode of anything that's on this list. That being said, apparently it's popular. I'll concur with AJ. Disney Plus for the win.
Well, technically,
Yeah,
Bluey is Disney Junior, so it still counts as a Disney.
No, it doesn't say Disney Plus on it. I didn't say Disney Junior. I'd have a Disney Junior button that says Disney Plus Day.
Yeah, but isn't Disney Junior part of Disney Plus anyway?
Doesn't matter. It says Disney Junior specifically.
That's one of the dumbest conversations that's happened on this network.
Hey, I want a kids thing to get in here because all your adult stuff. It's like the opposite of the animated feature. It's like all the time it's adult stuff. Put the kids stuff in here, and then when it comes to the Oscars, put the adult stuff in there. Get rid of this kid rubbish.
That's my response to you. Let's get acting categories.
Well, Owen, so you don't feel alone. You know how all the Marvel content that me and my brother have done here?
Yes.
I too completely missed What If entirely. So I want to eventually get to it because I am curious about it, but I think because it's not canon, I just didn't really think about it.
But it's got Jeffrey Wright as basically his character from the French Dispatch.
Yeah.
Except Lee Schreiber isn't interviewing him.
All right. Categories. Now we go into acting, it looks like.
This one's a little trickier, and I'm going to wish that I had done these beforehand, but I didn't. So, For supporting actress in a miniseries, looks like strictly miniseries. Jennifer Coolidge for The White Lotus, Caitlin Dew for Dope Sick, Catherine Hahn for WandaVision, Melissa McCarthy for Nine Perfect Strangers, and Julianne Nicholson and Jean Smart for Mayor of Easttown. It could definitely be either Mayor of Easttown person. It could be Caitlin Dever. I could honestly see them going with Catherine Hahn, actually. But I think I'm just going to carry over my Globes thing and stick with Jennifer Coolidge. Plus, it would be a travesty if she didn't. I mean, it'd be a travesty if a few of these people lost, but it's got to be somebody. So that's what I'm going with.
Or you got Ashley.
It was Agatha all along. Catherine Hahn.
I did go with Caitlin Dever for Dope Sick for the Globes. I think here I'm going with Jennifer Coolidge.
I'm honestly thinking just the way that she dealt with that reveal was enough to like possibly get her a win here for Hahn.
And she's just kind of loved in general, which is probably going to help a lot too.
You know, all the memes. Memes
Yeah.
practically every week of something that was in that week's episode of WandaVision.
Another thing I've never watched. Brian says, remember the Bob's Burgers movies is planned to be released this year.
Yeah. So maybe that wins animated feature next year.
Welcome, Cassie. He says Brian says that's at the end of May. He says, for me, Disney Junior is Playhouse Disney in my childhood. Yeah, I don't know these random shows now. Back when in the late 2000s when I was watching Disney Channel on a regular basis, I remember watching a lot of the things too. Playhouse Disney was not ever my like deal, but I did like pretty much everything on the Disney Channel back then. With no remorse. I will not have me remorseful at all. Don't care. Shoot, don't care. Speaking of shoot, don't care. Again, continue. We're gonna go into supporting actor now.
The category I care the most about, actually.
Because you have stake in it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's probably not going to go anywhere because of bullshit. But for a supporting actor in a miniseries, we have Murray Barlow for The White Lotus, Zach Gilford for Midnight Mass, William Jackson Harper for The Underground Railroad, Evan Peters for Mayor of Easttown, Christian Slater for Dr. Death, and Courtney B. Vance for Genius. I've been saying before that Murray Barlow should be running away with every award imaginable, which means he probably won't get this. I was leaning towards Evan Peters. This is where it's like I just kind of lean on the Emmys because that's the easiest thing to do because there's no strategy to predicting TV at all. So, I'm probably just gonna go with Evan Peters, but I suppose it could be any of them really.
Ashley.
It's great I can legit say F Dr. Death. Yeah, I'm gonna say Evan Peters, but because I'm just thinking that the critics were that over on Mare, which may influence what I'm gonna say in other categories. Hint, hint. But yeah, I'll stick with Evan like I did for the Globes.
All right, but before we go any further, Ashley, you need to elaborate a bit to somebody that doesn't know jack about television nowadays. Why is this F Dr. Death thing?
Oh, Steve Williams.
Well, I'm aware of that, duh. But I'm talking about, are you talking about there's a problem with the performance, or are people like trying to cancel Christian Slater? Or because I don't know what happens anymore because I try to stay completely away from
it. It was basically just me trying to do it, echo in a new legacy, fuck Dr. Death reference.
Nice.
That was it.
I appreciate it.
That was it.
Totally appreciate that reference. That being said, I'm going with Christian Slater.
But you almost just threw Christian Slater under the bus that doesn't exist.
You know, I was only saying F Dr. Death because I wasn't selecting him. I can also say F Murray Bartlett and F Courtney B. Vance. I was just doing it for the meme.
Oh dear God, we need to get away from that.
I'm not saying, you know, I don't think he's got a chance of winning because it's a relatively open field. Because I did see a lot of positive things about all 6 of them.
Well, like I said, if you didn't hear what I said,
Yeah.
I might as well elaborate. And then if you heard me or not, apparently you didn't. I'm going with Christian Slater here.
Yeah.
Worth mentioning. Evan Peters is really, really good in Mayor of Easttown.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just going to stand by this whole thing. Murray Barlow should be just destroying everything, and this is ridiculous. But whatever. So, actress in a miniseries.
Mm-hmm.
We have Danielle Brooks for Robin Roberts Presents Mahalia. Cynthia Erivo for Genius. Chisa Mbede for The Underground Railroad. Elizabeth Olsen for WandaVision. Margot Qualley for Maid. And Kate Winslet for Mayor of Easttown. Once again, I kind of just feel like it could be most of them, and Winslet is the easy choice. Maybe even Olsen would be an easy choice.
I'd say it would be an easy choice.
Like I honestly feel like they actually could go in on WandaVision, but I think I'm just gonna take the safe road and stick with Winslet. Though I don't think Eriva is out of the conversation either, but I'll stick with Winslet.
Playing Aretha Franklin, how could she be?
Yeah.
Tell that to Jennifer Hudson. Yeah, I'm
going... Before dang it. Go ahead, Ashley.
I'm going with Kate Winslet as well.
You know, these are the times that I take chances because I go with my heart instead of my head. I mean, at this time, it's probably smart to go with Olsen or Winslet, but I've never been a smart person when it comes to predicting. Pussycat. That's all I gotta say.
Okay, this is where drama for 2 is good, but drama for 3 would like to be known. I'm guessing Qualley?
Yeah. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Ashley.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I was gonna respond to you with one of her lines, but then I realized I don't think any of her lines are appropriate to say. Like, so I just
nope. About like Tara Reid's line, Big Lebowski.
Considering how much else that I've seen in Margaret Qualley over the past couple of years, I don't just think of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
All I have to do is do the same thing I do every single time when someone says, I don't think of someone in just one role. And I just throw one word at you. Maverick.
Of course you're talking about Shia and Surf's Up. Because of course you are.
Absolutely. Greatest game ever played. Anyway.
What are we talking about Mel Gibson for?
Because we always need to, Ashley. We always need to.
More going on the trend from earlier, more people that may get cancelled for the 57th time.
I was gonna say I can't tell by the way he's saying it. Does Ashley know that you actually are talking about the Mel Gibson movie?
I'm not exactly sure, AJ.
because you totally are.
No matter what he does in his career, no matter how many awards he ever wins, no matter what he does accolade-wise, no matter how many things he does in his career, he will always be the Spaniard in Maverick, and I do not care who knows moving forward.
I mean, I'm still surprised you don't think of Boogie Nights first, but yeah.
I like Maverick. Okay, I can't help it. I have this want to have Maverick brought to verses, but I don't think it's ever going to happen. So,
if anybody doesn't like being this confused, we're talking about Alfred Molina, by the way.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Raiders of the Lost Ark.
So, actor in a mini. Did we finish actress?
Yeah,
you said Margaret Qualley.
Winslet,
Okay.
I said Qualley.
For actor in a miniseries, we have Ollie Alexander for It's a Sin, Paul Bettany for WandaVision, William Jackson Harper for Love Life, Joshua Jackson for Doctor Death, Michael Keaton for Dope Sick, and Hamish Linklater for Midnight Mass. Once again, they really could go in on WandaVision, but a part of me wants to stick with my Globe choice and say Keaton, which I think I'm just gonna go ahead and do uncertainly.
Okay. What do you got, Ashley?
I'm going for Ollie Alexander for It's a Sin. It won't win, but
Am I seeing this correctly? Am I seeing this correctly that his character's name in It's a Sin is apparently Richie Tozier?
Yeah.
Yes.
As in the It character?
Yeah.
Okay.
You see, Russell T Davies is a genius.
I think it writes itself. So yeah, Paul Bettany makes sense. Michael Keaton makes sense. I don't know about It's a Sin, but I'm sure Ashley has a point to it. Hamish Linklater can be in this one as well because people love Midnight Mass, and it's not real. It seems like it's getting enough critical acclaim as you would think it might. Again, I'm just gonna have to go back in my my playbook from when I was a kid. Pacey Witter for the win. Charlie Conway, baby.
So which one am I ticking?
Ashley is blinking man emoji like Brian Myers right now. Joshua Jackson, Ashley.
I don't know who. I don't know who these people are. I've heard of Hamish Linklater and Michael Keaton and Paul Bettany and Alexander. The other two, don't know.
Ashley.
I'm hoping this video has entertainment value for other people since we're basically speaking in code the whole time.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. No, Ashley, I'm going with the characters that Joshua Jackson played in Dawson's Creek and the Mighty Ducks.
Oh God, he was in them, right?
So the gimmick that you always throw out every single time, and I know Brian will back me up on this, is you like to throw out it's this, and it goes like a character that this person does. I'm just throwing and turning that around on you tonight.
Oh.
I like
it's all these actors and actresses. It's like half of them are like, who? It's weird because like in all the other ones, it's like the famous names.
To Ashley's credit, I really love the running joke that Mark Rylance's name has been Would It Help since 2015.
I totally agree with this.
All right.
Television.
I can't remember any of his lines from Wolf Hall. That's the one I should go with. Or to be fair, the first time I saw him was 12th Night, so I need to get a line from 12th Night.
Yeah. Okay, so this is just gonna be a guess because I don't know what any of these are, except that the Zoe thing is apparently a spin-off from that Jane Levy thing.
Mm-hmm.
No idea what the rest of these are. So, Come From Away, List of a Lifetime, The Map of Tiny Perfect Things, Robin Hart's Presents Mahalia, Oslo, and Zoe's Extraordinary Christmas. I am going to say Oslo for no real reason.
Okay.
How's that for analysis?
I love its very basic logo that it has on its Wikipedia page. Ashley, what do you got?
Well, considering how only 2 of the 3 are even in the best TV movie category for the Satellite Awards, it's obviously between Oslo and Robin Roberts Presents Mahalia. Because apparently, according to the Critics' Choice, Help didn't exist. You sick sons of bitches. Because my God, what a drama that is. So in that case, because it's HBO, I'm probably going to go Oslo as well.
I think that's pretty much the same reason I have.
Well, it's not just that. It's because it's, I don't want a Lifetime channel movie getting a TV award.
We live in a world that Netflix is going to win Best Picture one day, so there you go. Not this year. I will say right now that I have two jumping out at me, and you guys haven't mentioned either of them. So obviously we're on different pages here.
I'm
Zoe's,
I'm really hoping you go for the Roku channel.
Zoe's Extraordinary Christmas is the first thing that jumped out at me when I originally saw it. But then I saw something else that was listed, and I know of its popularity. And I remember when it actually was at Dr. Phillips earlier last year, before like the world shut down. So, and it's something I know a lot of my friends really enjoy. So I want to give it a shout here, like Ashley would say. I'm going to go with Come From Away here. It's going to be a good year for musicals, and I think the Critics' Choice Awards will prove that as well.
All right. Miniseries?
Hold on. Brian chimed in. He says, I'm actually in the same vein as Ashley. I don't know which character Owen is saying. We all poke fun at Lifetime and Hallmark movies.
The fact that Lifetime channel has list of a Lifetime on it, and it's not even about the Lifetime channel. It's like, you know, why'd you call it that?
It's a drama, apparently, with two girls on a boat. Continue. So it's Life with Pi, but not. Best limited series.
Our nominees for limited series are Dope Sick, Dr. Death at the Sin, Maid, Mayor of Easttown, Midnight Mass, The Underground Railroad, and WandaVision. As I've been saying, they could always go all in on WandaVision. My Globe choice was Dope Sick.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, I'm just feeling like going the safe route with Critics' Choice, so I kind of just want to say Mayor of Easttown again.
Makes sense.
But, I don't know, because the whole point of Critics' Choice is it's a group of people that are desperate to be relevant. And is Mayor of Easttown too old at this point? Or they go for something that's kind of a newer kid on the block, like Dope Sick or Maid. The Underground Railroad has a lot of attention as well, as far as like its nominations here.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll just say Mayor of Easttown.
Ashley, what are you going with?
I mean, for me, there's 5 that stand out in Dope Sick, It's a Sin, Maid, Mayor of Easttown, and WandaVision. Which probably means it's going to be one of the other 3. But I think because this is the only one really that the critics get to do. I'm literally changing mine on the fly. I was going to say I'm Mayor of Easttown, but I think I'm going to go Maid.
Okay. And I probably should go with something a little bit more like a Mayor of Easttown or a Dope Stick, but I didn't go with Caitlin Deaver here because I don't know what's going to happen with my Globes predictions, which doesn't have any bearing on this. Just, again, visibility. But I went with Christian Slater. I went with Josh Jackson. Might as well go with the thing itself. I'm going with Dr. Death.
We're going into comedy now.
Yeah. Sure. If you want to call this comedy, I don't know what this is. We'll get there.
So supporting actress in a comedy series.
Yes.
Shit. We have Kristen Chenoweth for Schmigadoon, Hannah Einbender for Hacks, Molly Shannon for the other 2, Cecily Strong for Saturday Night Live, Josie Toto for Saved by the Bell, and Hannah Waddingham for Ted Lasso. We said it at the Globes, and we will say it here as well. If it's Ted Lasso, it has a really good chance. Molly Shannon kind of kept popping in my mind every now and then.
Yes.
But once again, I just kind of feel inclined to go with the safe choice. And the safe choice would be Hannah Waddingham, so I think I'm going to say her. I feel like Cecily Strong is destined to win one of these at some point. She may have to wait for her last season or something, but I will say Hannah Waddingham. It's the easy choice. I suppose Hacks could have a really good night, but I'll stick with Ted Lasso for the foreseeable future.
Ashley, what are you going with?
This time around, I'll probably go with AJ and go with Hannah Waddingham for Ted Lasso, but I don't know. I am sort of wondering about Hacks because I think it might struggle in some of the other categories. Depends how the critics look at it.
I was thinking Molly Shannon here originally, and just name value alone, honestly, Kristen Chenoweth is always a threat at all times, no matter what she runs for. I literally cannot see them giving an SNL like composite of characters a award, but you never know, maybe. That being said, I'm gonna stick with the panel and say if it ain't Ted Lasso, then it ain't not gonna get in there. So there you go. That was the worst thing I think I've said in a long time. Hannah Waddingham.
To be fair, Cecily's strongest moment was the little sketch that she did as part of Weekend Update, which was the dig at the Texas anti-abortion law things. That was very well received, so yeah, I wouldn't say rule her out immediately.
Yeah, I was gonna say my initial thought was the only reason Cecily Strong is here is because Kate McKinnon was absent for most of the season, but
Because I'm trying to think. It was either the Emmys or last year's Critics' Choice when, not to skip to the next category, but I think Bowen Yang won it. I vaguely remember him winning something, like in the last award season, whether it was the Emmys or one of the other ones where the TV stuff showed up. It certainly wasn't Critics' Choice as I've just looked. He got something. Anyway.
yeah, my long-term memory for TV awards is practically non-existent. So, supporting actor in a comedy series.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We have Shuda Gawa for Sex Education, Brett Goldstein for Ted Lasso, Harvey Guillen for What We Do in the Shadows, Brandon Scott Jones for Ghost, Ray Romano for Made for Love, and Bowen Yang for Saturday Night Live. So when we talked about these nominees, I was kind of spacing out because I only half cared, if that. And I remembered after the fact that Ashley had mentioned there is an American version of Ghosts. But it was only looking these over where I was like, what the fuck? There's an American version of Ghosts?
Yeah.
I mean, if Charlotte Ritchie's not in it, I don't give a shit. I was leaning towards, like, Shooting O actually kind of came to mind, and Bowen Yang came to mind, especially since Bowen Yang's, like, popularity is just continuing to rise. But once again, I think I'm going to go the safe route and just say Brett Goldstein. Because anything that's Ted Lasso is the safe route.
Ashley, what do you got?
As hinted at earlier, Bowen Yang.
Real quick in chat, a couple messages here. Brian asks if anybody's watched Monsters at Work or Doug Days.
I haven't. I was considering if I was going to or not.
I don't have Disney Plus, so it's sort of impossible.
And binaural Dean returns to chat, says, what do you think about The White Lotus?
I love The White Lotus. I fucking love The White Lotus.
In case you couldn't tell, where he wants to give it all the awards.
and I hate because like Murray Bartlett is the show to me. But Jennifer Coolidge could also be the show to pretty much anybody, and Steve Zahn is incredible, and it made me like Jake Lacey and Alexander Daddario, which I did not expect. And casting Jake Lacey as a rich sociopath is one of the most brilliant casting choices ever.
I like that.
And I just really love and I just love Mike White in general also. It really pains me that SAG doesn't have an ensemble category for miniseries because of it. Like this is like one of the moments where that's going to be glaringly obvious that they should probably have that category. That's how I feel about the White Lotus.
Okay.
Ooh, that just kind of. I'm only realizing as I go on how much I really love the White Lotus.
Yeah, once again, as it's been alluded to numerous times and probably will continue to be, if it's Ted Lasso, it's probably a safe bet. So, as much as I want to go What We Do in the Shadows here, I'm going to go Brett Goldstein.
All right, actress in a comedy series.
Heh.
Once again, this I feel like could literally be any of them. So just throwing out guesses here, but
Okay.
we have Elle Fanning for The Great, Renee Elise Goldsberry for Girls 5 Eva, Selena Gomez for Only Murders in the Building, Sandra Oh for The Chair, Issa Rae for Insecure, and Jean Smart for Hacks. Obviously, my Globe choice was Issa Rae because the show is ending, but I don't remember if Critics' Choice like favors that or not, or if they even favor anything in particular.
Well, they gave a lot to Schitt's Creek last year.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Which also could have just been them playing Follow the Leader with the Emmys. I really can't.
Was the last season
Critics'
of
Choice
30
is hard to
Rock
gauge.
2011?
It was a little after that because there's a reference to Argo in the last season.
Oh, okay.
There's a reference to Argo. Dean Winters makes a reference to Argo winning an Oscar, so it's at least 2013, I think. I don't know why I remember that reference so well, but I think I'm gonna say Jean Smart here, and that's all I can really elaborate on that.
Okay. What do you got, Ashley?
I mean, it is fair because that's following on from the Emmys and whatever. I'm gonna stick with my Globe prediction with Issa Rae because she's been nominated before but hasn't won. So
it's probably a smart bet to go with Issa Rae here, Jean Smart, or even Elle Fanning for that matter, and the past I have with Sandra Oh. But I mean, because I like to go with things I know and things that I like and things that obviously I have a connection to. Speaking of that, I'm going to go out in left field, and I'm going to go with a little bit of Alex Russo here. Shock the world. Selena Gomez.
more Jeff Jarrett references.
Exactly. References for the win. AJ, you remember that scene, don't you? Breakers, Jeff Jarrett.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Although the only bit I remember from it is the meme that came afterwards, which has him doing the preaching, and then he smacks the guitar over the head of Beetlejuice backstage at Nitro.
It's always good.
Slap nuts.
He's going to Hammerstein now. The only thing I know about Girls 5 Eva was the cast performed in the Macy's parade this year on the Peacock float, says Brian.
Okay.
What a random reference.
And again, it is a musical comedy, so, you know. Why wasn't it eligible for the Globes? It's a musical.
Oh, yeah. Girls 5 Eva is also Sarah Bareilles.
Mm-hmm.
Which they just announced recently that Waitress is going off Broadway soon. So, I mean, that's a nice shout as well. So.
Sorry, I've just noticed. I've looked at the cast. Girls Forever has Tina Fey as Dolly Parton. I want to vote for that one now. Can I change my mind? I'm not, but just on that casting choice alone, I wouldn't give it a chance.
I need to see video footage right now. So we move on to this
Action
is an interesting
comedy.
category.
Yeah.
Best act-
Yeah. One of these things is not like the other. We have Ian Armitage for A Young Sheldon, Nicholas Hoult for The Great, Steve Martin for Only Murders in the Building, Kayvon Novak for What We Do in the Shadows, Martin Short for Only Murders in the Building, and Jason Sudeikis for Ted Lasso. I'd love to see either of the Martins.
Oh yeah.
But I'm definitely going to go the safe route and say Jason Sudeikis again.
Ashley.
I so want it to be Kaya Novak because then I can just do random phone jacker references that nobody will get. But yeah, this is like Ted Lasso's to win and lose because it can do either.
I mean, I'm with AJ on this. I'd love to see Martin or Steve Martin win this. But yeah, Jason Sudeikis for Ted Lasso.
You know, it'd be even more perfect is if Steve Martin and Martin Short was the tie of the night.
Oh, that'd be great. I support this choice.
That acceptance speech would be so much gold.
Well, considering the nice little mini skit that they did in the Five Timers Club thing for Paul Rudd, on the weirdly squashed up SNL because of Omicron, that was still awesome.
That was tragic, but all right, so comedy series.
Yes.
We have The Great, Hacks, Insecure, Only Murders in the Building. The other two, Reservation Dogs, Ted Lasso, What We Do in the Shadows. That just sounded like saying a couple of sentences.
Pretty much.
The great thing is that I've only just realised everything in this category has been nominated in other things apart from Reservation Dogs.
Yeah. Are you saying they're gonna do something crazy?
I mean, it's gonna get the Independent Spirit Award by default for best ensemble and whatever. So I don't know.
Maybe there's a small possibility they're gonna kind of go off the Ted Lasso path and be a little more inspired. I doubt it, but I mean it's possible. But I'm just gonna stick with Ted Lasso because that's the easiest thing to do.
Ashley?
It's weird. It's just I'm going Ted Lasso as well. It's just I think I said when with the first series we covered and everything. It's weird to see something that is so taking a jibe at British soccer, yet also being respectful to British football at the same time.
All right. Brian says, by the way, Ian Armitage was also the voice of Chase in Paw Patrol the movie.
I hate to say that I actually did know that.
Good lord.
What was wrong? What was wrong with the original kid? Do we have to keep recasting all these, celebrities, voices of the kids?
The thing that's really jarring about the rest of his career is there was a long time where I only knew him as Shailene Woodley's kid on Big Little Lies before I even remembered, oh, that's young Sheldon.
Yeah, Ted Lasso.
It's like everything that you see Noah Jupe in. It's like, but I remember him from that. No, actually, no. It was before that. It was that. No, wait. It was that.
That's me with Chalamet and Interstellar. I always forget to go as far back as Interstellar. It's like when fucking Freeform was doing their Christmas marathon, and they play. Oh, and do you remember that shit ass movie Love the Coopers?
Yes.
Do you remember Chalamet being the teenage kid in that?
No.
Yeah,
Now I
that was.
think about it, it makes
It
sense.
was just. It was just on in the background. I was like, "What the fuck is he doing here?"
We can go on to the next category now.
Yes, we are ending TV. We have 5 categories to go.
Into the drama.
Is it gonna be a Succession kind of night? Or this is it's basically our globe conversation. But Squid Game won't show up till the last 2 categories. So in the meantime, we'll find out if it's a Succession kind of night. For supporting actress in a drama series, we have Kristen Lottie for Evil, Andrea Martin for Evil, Audra McDonald for The Good Fight, J. Smith Cameron for Succession, Sarah Snook for Succession, and Susan Golache Watson for This Is Us. I feel like the most high profile here would be Sarah Snook. Is that about right?
Yeah.
So I think I'm just gonna go with Sarah Snook, and we'll see how far the Succession thing goes whenever this night is.
Ashley.
Yeah, I think I'll go with Sarah Snook as well for this one.
Dude, just the name value alone, I could see Audra McDonald winning this. Or Christine Lottie winning this. But yeah, I agree with the panel. Sarah Snook.
Speaking of Succession, supporting actor in a drama series, are we ready?
Yeah.
I have Nicholas Braun for Succession, Billy Crudup for The Morning Show, Kieran Culkin for Succession, Justin Harley for This Is Us, Matthew McFadden for Succession, and Mandy Patinkin for The Good Fight. Nicholas Braun has the character that's been kind of memed, apparently. So you would think he's got popularity points, but I'm still leaning towards Kieran Culkin, which was also my Globe's choice. Billy Crudup's always a possibility. And honestly, just his status in general, I suppose Mandy Patinkin's always a possibility, but I'm gonna go with Kieran Culkin again.
Ashley.
Yeah, I'm sticking with. I think I went with Culkin as well for the Globe, so I'm sticking with that.
Pretty sure my pick for the Globes is going to be what I go with here. I'm going with, Billy Crudup.
All right. Actress in a drama series.
Yeah.
We have Uzo Aduba for In Treatment, Chiara Aurelia for Cruel Summer, Kristen Bransky for The Good Fight, Kanya Herbers for Evil, Melanie Linsky for Yellow Jackets, and MJ Rodriguez for Pose. Much like Halen Deaver, just love seeing Melanie Linsky's name on a list like this. That's always good, especially since Adam McKay just wasted her so much. I think I am leaning towards MJ Rodriguez because I think I was going to go with her for the Globe and I didn't, and I was wondering if I was regretting that. So I'll make amends with that now and go ahead and say MJ Rodriguez.
Ashley.
Yeah. I'm looking at Wikipedia and it says she now prefers Michaela J. Rodriguez, so I guess we're gonna have to change that when it comes to the nominations. But yeah, I'm going with Pose as well.
Yeah, I think we've learned in Hollywood right now you don't bet against MJ. So there you go.
All right. Actor in a drama series.
Get this TV cap.
There's definitely options here, but I kind of feel I'm kind of getting the feeling that these last 2 categories are going to go in the same direction. So the nominees are Sterling K. Brown for This Is Us, Mike Holder for Evil, Brian Cox for Succession, Lee Jung Jae for Squid Game, Billy Porter for Pose, and Jeremy Strong for Succession. Like we talked about at the Globes, this Cox-Strong battle is a possibility. And I was actually leaning towards Jeremy Strong when we were talking about the Globes. But I think I'm going to go with Lee Jung Jae. which may have also been my Globe's choice. I don't remember now.
Quick to the spreadsheet. Yeah, it was. So you're following on with what you went with. So
Ashley, what do you
so
got?
in theory, that means I should be saying Brian Cox, but I'm going to say Jeremy Strong instead.
And I think if you look at the spreadsheet, Ashley, I think I'm gonna stick with mine as well. I'm gonna go with Billy Porter.
Yeah.
Right. Are we ending TV?
Thank God. Let's take it home.
Drama series, we have Evil, For All Mankind, The Good Fight, Pose, Squid Game, Succession, This Is Us, Yellow Jackets. Those first few there are another one where it feels like it's all one sentence.
Yeah.
So obviously the question is are they going with Squid Game or is it a Succession kind of night? Because this show is striving so hard to be people pleasing and popular, I'm gonna go with Squid Game. Even though Succession is also extremely popular right now and like really starting to peak, I'm going with Squid Game. So yeah.
Ashley.
I'm trying to remember whether I went with it in the Globes, but I'm sticking with Succession here. I think there's enough momentum behind that as to what happens with the fourth series, and whenever that comes out, I'm guessing probably 2023, because it normally takes a couple of years for the seasons to get put together. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I did it with previous categories. I might as well do it again. I'm gonna go with Pose.
Oh wait, never mind. I was gonna say, is that the end of TV for the season? I forgot we haven't even done SAG yet.
Oh, sadly not.
All right, are we moving on?
Yes, we are finally.
On to the movie.
And we're starting with what I think might be a pretty easy category for the remainder of the year, if I'm not wrong. Are we starting with foreign?
Yes.
We have Drive My Car, Flee, The Hand of God, A Hero, and The Worst Person in the World. Am I right or wrong to think that Drive My Car is the one to beat now in this category?
On the critics front, yeah.
Ashley, you're gonna agree?
I'm going with Drive My Car, but I could actually see Flea take this.
Yeah.
It's arguably between them two in terms of like critic ones, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen trailers for two of these, and Flea was one of them. And I keep seeing the trailer for Flea every once in a while. And I saw my first Worst Person in the World trailer the other day when I watched Licorice Pizza for the second time, and I am very actually interested in seeing both of these movies when they come out to my theater. But yeah, to go against Drive My Car right now is a sucker bet. So yeah, Drive My Car.
That's what, even though this group is different from like the other critics ones that we've seen. It is. I think I mentioned this before, but it's so interesting to me how Flea has been practically so evenly distributed between getting wins for animated foreign and documentary.
Definitely.
All right, best comedy.
Okay.
It has served me well to remember that because there's two movies that are here that are also in the picture race, does not mean that those two movies are guaranteed this.
Nope.
If there's something else that's much more of a comedy. And I think I'm going to take that approach again because Palm Springs went well when I went with it. We have Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar, Don't Look Up, Free Guy, The French Dispatch, and Licorice Pizza. The French Dispatch should be more of a player, but
Same.
Obviously, people are going to immediately look to Don't Look Up or Licorice Pizza because they're in the picture race. But I'm going to go with Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar.
Christ. Ashley, go ahead.
I'm think I'm gonna be, because they do like going for sort of the recent history is the one that's sort of in awards contention. Because the previous years have been Palm Springs and Dolomite Is My Name and Crazy Witch Asians and The Big Sick, and it's only when you get to Deadpool that you get the sort of the mainstream one. Because even back to 2011, Bridesmaids was, a contender. It got supporting actress, right, for Melissa McCarthy, I think, 10 years ago at the Oscars.
As far as being nominated?
Yeah.
Please
Yeah.
don't this crap.
So, yeah, Licorice Pizza for me.
Tough, because I could go with the comedy, or I can go with what I want to see win, and they're definitely not in the same stratosphere, much less same conversation. Immediately I wanted to pull an AJ and jump him to Free Guy right here. Not just because of the energy drink I have in my fridge right now, which actually tastes like cotton candy. It's really good. The only thing good about Free Guy is the energy drink.
Wow,
I love
you don't even like Taika Waititi's supporting performance? That's probably the strongest bit.
Hey, I think I share the AJ hate for Ryan Reynolds so much now, so it's like...
I was going to say, the best thing about Taika Waititi's scenes are the fact that Ryan Reynolds is, I'm pretty sure, not in any of them. And his line about Albuquerque boiled turkey is really good. So.
Brian says something I thought about today regarding Flea to get nominated for animated feature. I haven't seen it, but I've heard from some people there are some live action bits. I think we talked about it a couple podcasts ago in chat, at least.
Yeah, that's always such a blurry place.
And I wanted to go Don't Look Up here too, but
once again, that's the thing about how you view these people as critics or not, because a lot of critics don't like Don't Look Up.
Yeah,
that's what
I think it's probably, for critics, it's probably got one of the weakest Rotten Tomatoes score, if you want to look into that, because it split that many people.
And as much as I want to die on the hill of my second favorite movie of the year and really go against type and a movie that should be running away with this category handily, I'm going to go with my favorite movie of the year, go with my heart, and go with Ashley's choice again and say Licorice Pizza.
Animated. For animated, we have Encanto, Flea, Luca, The Mitchells vs. the Machines, and Raya and the Last Dragon. I feel like this is down to 2 with Encanto and The Mitchells vs. the Machines.
Yep, that's what I'm thinking.
And I think I am just barely going to go with The Mitchells vs. the Machines.
Ashley.
Don't rule out Flea here. It could get in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll stick. I was thinking of changing it like last minute just now to Flea, but I'm gonna stick with what I was predicting beforehand and hope it goes to Mitchells versus the Machines, because I'd like to see it actually, be in the race, and maybe this will put it in there.
Or maybe this would be one of the big snubs of Oscar morning too.
Yeah,
which is possible given the fact of how many people I hear talk about Mitchells versus the Machines constantly when it comes to the animated feature category.
People were ready to fucking riot when the Globes snubbed it.
Yep.
It's like, number one, who gives a fuck? It's the Globes. But secondly, it's like, I didn't realize just how passionate the fan base was. It's a really good movie, but holy shit, they're passionate.
And I think they got the critics in their back pocket too. Mitchells versus the Machines.
Plus, I'm also a fan because at one point Olivia Colman calls them goobers, and I laughed so hard I think it added a year to my life. So it has that going for it as well.
It's also
That's
weird. It's also weird to see something that's on Netflix but is actually like on DVD over here. It's not
Yeah,
just
that like blew
watch
my
it,
mind.
watch it, watch it only on our
Yeah,
service. Damn it! It's like
it's like yeah, hey Netflix, you've got a couple of picture nominees that still haven't come out physically yet. Why don't you keep up the whole physical release thing? Like keep it going because you're gonna have like 3 or fucking 4 this year. Why don't you?
please do.
So we're getting into the tech categories now.
Oh God, yeah.
Once upon a time, I would have assumed that my beloved Dune was just gonna take all of these. Um, I don't know anymore, and it makes me really sad. But but I would like to think it has a very good handle on this category because we are starting with visual effects, where we have Dune, The Matrix Resurrections, Nightmare Alley, No Time to Die, and Shang-Chi. I would like to think this is Dune's pretty easily. I would hope. So that's what I'm going with.
Ashley.
I think it's somewhat close between that and Shang-Chi. Part of me wonders why Matrix is in here. Because, like, some of the VFX in that
Yeah.
isn't great. Which is why I'm surprised that, considering how well it seemed to have been received VFX wise, especially considering how to the last minute they've been working on it, that Spider-Man didn't even get nominated in here.
Yeah.
Belongs here with the Matrix.
If anything, Matrix needs to be taken out, and that's where Spider-Man's goes. If anything.
Just said.
Yeah, but I thought you were saying like Nightmare Alley or something needs to go in because I still haven't seen that.
We'll talk about it in a second.
So yeah, I'm going with Dune here as well.
Now, if you have to look at the movies that I've watched this year, now I haven't watched as many as the panel, haven't watched as many. I'm positive of the viewership that we have. But I've been very fortunate that most of the stuff I've watched, actually all the stuff I've watched, save two, have been movies that will end up in the award season and already have in one way, shape, or form. So I've not watched anything like outlandishly bad so far. But when you talk about movies I didn't like as much as I probably could have, there's a movie on here that I don't like, but I love its visuals. So, and that's Nightmare. Not a fan of the movie, but I love the way it looks. And I can see them going with that look. But, I might as well.
Are you sure you're not thinking more of the production design than the visual effects?
Yeah, I know I'm thinking of the production design. Overall, I think I think if what comes down to production design, I think it's in this conversation. Visual effects, I'll go with Dune. I've only seen one of these movies.
So
Blame Dune for not getting a theatrical release after it's already left the theaters.
having seen it, VFX wise, is it Del Toro basically trying to go back to sort of the VFX for Pan's Labyrinth? So it's sort of a mix of physical VFX as well as CGI of VFX.
I think that's what it has to be. I'm also wondering how much of it might be like Scorsese visual effects, where it's like background stuff that's so seamless you don't even really realize it's there.
Yeah.
Could
Right.
also be the case. Hair and makeup?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not 100% sure, but we have Cruella, Dune, The Eyes of Tammy Faye, House of Gucci, and Nightmare Alley. I'll say this as many times as I can just to get the point across. The performance and the posters may not do it justice, but Leto's makeup in House of Gucci is incredible.
Indeed.
I have no idea how it looks so terrible on the poster, but I think I'm leaning towards Tammy Faye here.
Okay.
I think that's what I'm going to go with. Also with the kind of it's also one that stands out as far as the combination of hair and makeup. So I think that's what I'm going to go with. And of course, it obviously, you know, has the narrative of it's the makeup that ruined Chastain's skin forever or something. Maybe
Fair.
that's going against it. I don't know, but the devotion will.
Ashley, what do you got?
I'm going with Dune
Nice.
because I always remember makeup and hair as being the prosthetics one. And considering all the prosthetics that they need to do for obviously some of the characters, uh, that work needs just as much eyes on it as it would be in, Jared Leto's fat suit and Tammy Faye's, uh, I guess aging because of course being set over a number of decades and everything. So to the same extent with Nightmare Alley as well, and I think Cruella's an obvious shout as well. So it's like it's not a list that it's like there's nothing that shouldn't be there. But I'm gonna go with Dune. Dune.
So, giving the eyes of Tammy Faye makeup is ironic in so many ways possible, given the circumstance. It does make sense. I could definitely see it happening. Obviously, Leto is a challenger here. To me, I think it's down to those two. As I don't think it's going to get anything else, and I do think the eyes of Tammy Faye might. I'm going to go with Leto here, so I'm going to give it to House of Gucci.
Right. Song.
Cool.
We have Be Alive from King Richard. How are we saying this again?
Dos Oruguitas.
From Encanto, Guns Go Bang from Harder They Fall, Just Look Up from Don't Look Up, and No Time to Die from No Time to Die. I'm just gonna stick with my Globe choice and say Be Alive.
Ashley.
Yeah, with the critics, I don't think they listen to the song. They just go with it's Beyonce. So yeah, Be Alive as well.
I mean, obviously, I'm not a Beyonce fan, never have been, but I will say right now that this is a King Richard victory, sewed up in a package, ready to be given right now. Weirdly enough, not going with Billie Eilish in this, but I mean, it is the critics, so it's possible if you talk about not really just looking at the category, because that seems to be the battle right now. And I wish Ariana was more in this because I like Don't Look Up, but I know AJ doesn't seem to like as much as I do. But I mean, I do love.
Yeah, that's a whole conversation. That'll be if I start talking about Don't Look Up, that'll be a whole rabbit hole. So there's so much. There's just so much to go into.
I guess I know what me and AJ are gonna be doing when Owen can't be here one week.
It's just, and it's not that I think it's bad. There's just so much to talk about, good and bad. So it's
like the reviews. It's a mixed bag.
That's exactly what it is. It's literally Vice again.
And that's gonna be the go to the next category.
Speaking of, for score, we have Don't Look Up, The Power of the Dog, Spencer, Nightmare Alley, and Dune. I cannot express enough how much I am a massive fan of Nicholas Britell right now. Like every time he does a score, I'm very excited about it, and I really love that the opening theme for Don't Look Up, like the main theme. And of course, we got two Greenwoods here. And The Power of the Dog is one of those cases also where like the score is such an important piece of Power of the Dog. that it's always going to be an option. And I know some people are kind of put off by Zimmer these days because I think he's too big and too repetitive. And I'd follow his bagpipes to the ends of the earth personally, as far as this goes. Um, but I think, oh my God, it's down to, for me, it is down to Zimmer and Greenwood for Power of the Dog. And I was leaning towards Power of the Dog, but I think I'm just gonna say fuck it and go with Zimmer.
All right. Ashley, what do you got?
This is annoying because I don't know which Greenwood I want to go for because I haven't seen Power of the Dog yet, but it keeps winning everything, and probably not to the same extent, but the score has some key moments in parts, certainly in Spencer, through the various little bits. So, did I mention before about the continuity? Yeah, I mentioned before about the continuity error with the bloody Porsche in that film. Anyway, I'll go with Power of the Dog, but I'm not sure which it is. Also, AJ, if you like Zimmer, he randomly's done the opening title score for the new Around the World in 80 Days that's just shown up in the UK. There's another thing for you to listen to.
There's a new Around the World in 80 Days, first of
Yeah,
all.
with David Tennant as Fogg, which weirdly
Oh,
is getting a second season. Even though the first season ends apparently with like how Around the World in 80 Days ends, so we're making shit
it's
up for series 2.
So Brian says his favorite song on the short list and his favorite overall is Down to Joy from Belfast. And his least favorite is Just Look Up, Be Alive, and No Time to Die or Baby. I guess the point nowadays.
you don't like Just Look Up?
Up is great. I want to see that performed on the Oscar stage. Yeah,
Somehow they will work around those lyrics.
will happen. Johnny Greenwood here for the win. Given its visibility in the rest of the season, I think it's Power of the Dog here.
Looking at the list of 15, I just seriously hope that either the Cinderella song or a Dear Evan Hansen song gets nominated, and then we can go. Oh,
I don't even want to acknowledge that as a possibility.
Quiet category.
All right. Production design.
There we go.
It's a really good group. We have Belfast, The French Dispatch, West Side Story, Nightmare Alley, and Dune. Obviously, Dune would be my choice. Wes Anderson should always be a choice. It's the standout aspect of Nightmare Alley, by far.
Without question.
I think I am going to say West Side Story. I feel like musicals have a really good history with this category. Don't quote me on that, but I feel like they do. And just how big and stretched out it is as far as using its locations in a way that we didn't see in the original will probably really stand out. The Hole in the Ground during Cool, especially, is a really great set. So that's what I'm going with.
What do you got, Ashley?
Ooh. Gonna say. Did I say Belfast?
Nice.
Well,
I always think it's interesting how you do production design when you know it's going to be black and white.
Yeah.
Because it's always, it's like the black and white version of Parasite. Why that couldn't have been in the Oscars as well, because that would have made it win even more. Even though that was how it was originally intended to be put out as well. It's like in black and white, it's even better on the production design front. So it's always that issue for me, but yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Uh,
All right. Thought there was something more to it, but apparently not. Brian says there's also a possibility of Brian Wilson with Right Where I Belong.
yeah, and Sparks with their song from Annette as well.
Well, as I look at the screen right now and all the production design options, I'm also going to concur with what AJ said, but I'm going to go the opposite way. Again, I'm not going with my head, I'm going with my heart here. Obviously, I'm going to go with what, if you look at my screen, Ashley, we will see that I basically am going with Danhausen here for the French Dispatch.
Deanhausen. Then you can Deanhausen.
Very nice, very winning.
Costume design.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
We have Cruella, Dune, Nightmare Alley, West Side Story, House of Gucci. A lot of great options, but I think I'm going with Phantom Thread syndrome here. If your movie is about the costumes, that might be it. So I'm gonna say Cruella.
Ashley.
Arguably, we've sort of got two about the costumes, considering Gucci
Yep.
and everything. But
Yeah.
no, I'm going with Cruella as well.
West Side Story.
That was simple enough.
Yes. We wouldn't go 4 hours if we had like slow conversation like that.
We're getting into big shit now.
Yeah, we are.
All right, editing. Editing, we have West Side Story, Belfast, Licorice Pizza, Power of the Dog, and Dune. I actually was really considering Licorice Pizza. Because even though I still haven't seen it yet, I just know how Paul Thomas Anderson movies look. So I feel like it's a possibility. But once again, the whole musical thing, I'm going to say West Side Story here.
Ashley.
I'm gonna go with Licorice Pizza because there's normally a lot of good editing in PTA stuff.
To further elaborate on my choice, I'll also say that in any movie at all, editing is all about rhythm. So it makes even more sense how important editing is in a musical. That's another thing that's kind of propelling me there.
I mean, like I would choose anything other than Licorice Pizza. Come on.
I'm guessing I didn't predict it like years back, but all the editing that was required in Baby Driver, because I don't think it won.
Here it might have, but I don't remember for sure. Dunkirk was that year.
It was a tie with Dunkirk, actually.
With Dunkirk getting the Oscar, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
If I remember correctly, I went with Baby Driver, not, and I got a point technically, but not a technical, but I didn't get the full point.
So those timelines in Dunkirk were unbeatable. This one is tricky.
Yeah.
Cinematography, we have Macbeth, Dune, West Side Story, Nightmare Alley, Power of the Dog, and Belfast.
Yeah, where it randomly goes to 6 for this one, so there must have been a tie in the noms.
Much like most of its other categories that it's been in throughout the season, I almost want to go with Macbeth without even having seen it because I want it. I would love for this to be Dune, obviously. Nightmare Alley would be deserving, though it's still kind of annoying that that's, visually is what it does best. So I kind of had it down to Power of the Dog and Belfast. Much as I love Dune, Belfast is probably what it should be. But I wonder if this is gonna be a Power of the Dog love fest as we get higher up. It really should be Belfast, honestly. To the point that I almost want to go with it. West Side Story is also yeah, I totally should have mentioned West Side Story as well with these ones that it totally 100% could be.
Considering it's Kaminsky who's won plenty of times on the cinematography front.
Man, this one is difficult. This might be the most difficult one we have. Power of the Dog looks really good, but I almost feel like it'd be the lazy choice. If that's not wrong to say. Maybe I should just go with West Side Story. Especially since it's, like the bee's knees right now. It's like right in the perfect place. As far as momentum. Yeah, I'll fuck. I'll go ahead and say West Side Story.
All right, what you got, Ashley?
I'm sticking with Belfast. I think that's a tough one because I can see all 6 actually winning it. Because even though I've heard mixed performances about like the story and everything with Nightmare Alley, if it's a Del Toro film, it better look good. So
it certainly does, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
But I'll go with Belfast.
And so I have experience with everything on this list except for 2. Just recent experience with one of these, which didn't really cling to as much as I probably should. Doesn't mean I dislike it in any way, but I will say that the cinematography in the tragedy of Macbeth is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
I don't doubt it at all. By the way, I fucking hate that you've seen it and I haven't. I want to just reach through the screen and throttle you right now.
You do realize you have seen Power of the Dog and Tick Tick Boom, and I have not too.
I have seen Power of the Dog 3 times.
I thought it was 4.
No, Dune was 4.
There you go. I'd like to say Macbeth here, and it'd be very deserved. Yeah, but I hate when Ashley steals my thunder before I can say it, but I have to concur. It's Belfast.
I hope so. I really hope so.
I'm not meaning to steal your thunder. Stop making it out as if, I'm cheating.
I know, it just sucks that it's like, oh yeah, Ashley said that. And I was like, well, now I have to concur with Ashley. I have to concur with AJ. Oh, can't strike out on my own because it's like, nope, great minds think alike. Brian says the Power of the Dog gets a lot of critics wins and many awards. The stupid experts on Gold Derby think it's going to win majority of the Big 8 except for actor. No.
Which is weird because most people are going the other way.
I was gonna say something, but I'll hold off until we get to picture.
That makes sense.
So if it's all the same to everybody else, let's jump up to these 2 like other acting categories before we get into the Big 8.
Oh, that's fair.
So I guess let's do young actor and actress first. Where we have Jude Hill for Belfast, Cooper Hoffman for Licorice Pizza, Millie Jones for Coda, Woody Norman for Come On, Come On, Sanaya Sidney for King Richard, and Rachel Zegler for West Side Story. I could totally see this being Amelia Jones.
It's the only one I haven't seen.
Like it said, it's this layer of what has had momentum where it's like, at one point this would have easily been Amelia Jones, then at one point this would have easily been Jude Hill. Now it's just kind of jumping around, and I'm afraid that it's going to be Zegler.
No, don't will that.
The least deserving person here.
Accurate.
I would actually love it if it was Sydney. That would be cool. but I've pretty much got it down to Hoffman on the. Well, maybe it could be Hoffman. The safe choice is Zegler, though. But damn, it really could be Hoffman. Oh shit. Actually, I think I'm going to go ahead and say Hoffman. Yeah.
Ashley.
Because it's the critics and because they're idiots. Rachel Zegler.
So Ashley doesn't steal my thunder this time, because I'm damn sure not going with Zegler for any reason. And
the
given
critics, no, goddamn.
and given the ballsy choice I'm gonna make when SAG comes out,
If it comes out.
come on, he's Gary Valentine. Come on, man.
Try some.
Here's another one that's kind of difficult.
Yeah, very much so, actually.
Ensemble. We have Belfast, Don't Look Up, The Harder They Fall, Licorice Pizza, Power of the Dog, and West Side Story. I feel like it's down to the last three: Licorice Pizza, Power of the Dog, and West Side Story.
Yeah.
Don't Look Up's got the size, and the names, but yeah. Shit. I was not expecting some of these to be as hard as they are. I really, really should have tried to prepare a little more beforehand, which I usually do, but this year's just so crazy. What's even the point?
Accurate.
This
is my response.
Oh my god, man. Every time I start to go with one, it could totally be the other two.
Yep.
Oh, man. I keep coming back to Power of the Dog.
Safe bet.
But then, like, every time I start to, I see West Side Story and Licorice Pizza, and I just keep going back and forth. Damn it. I am going to say... Fuck. I had an answer, and then I changed my mind again right before I said it. Oh my god. Okay. I promise next year I'll be prepared ahead of time.
Never say that.
I am going to say Power of the Dog. Yeah.
Ashley.
Belfast.
Licorice Pizza. And the winner is West Side Story.
I kind of feel like there's no wrong answer here, actually.
I have no knowledge of The Harder They Fall, but I do see it popping up like everywhere, so it's probably something a lot more important than it is.
Well, the harder they fall was basically a slightly tighter version of Don't Look Up, considering the big name of like the big names that part of the two gangs that are part of
every fucking body in the world is in The Harder They Fall. I feel like if we look hard enough, we're probably in The Harder They Fall. That's how many people are in that movie.
Maybe. Possible.
All right, the Big Eight.
Oh boy, yeah.
Okay. Interestingly enough, I feel like these are a lot easier. Most of them, anyway.
For the most part. This one's kind of tough, though.
Adapted?
Yeah, a little bit.
Adapted's like the easiest.
I got a surprise here, though, so I don't know if I want to go with that, though.
All right. Well, our nominees are The Power of the Dog, The Lost Daughter, Coda, West Side Story, and Dune. I mean, I feel like it's Power of the Dog pretty easily, but I'm curious what you have to say.
It's To me, it's a toss-up between. I mean, I'm going with Power of a Dog, but I could easily see Lost Daughter take this.
Yeah, that's what I was saying in the last video about how Gyllenhaal could be like an Oscar spoiler at the very last minute.
But at the same time, it's
She
stupid
could be.
critics. It's stupid critics, so it could easily be West Side Story.
Oh, I wonder if he'll take his trophy away again, like he did when he won for Lincoln.
Hopefully, this is where Owen goes the way I hope he's doing.
Power of the Dog.
Oh, okay. For a minute, I
So-
thought you were going to say
uh,
I thought you were going to say Coda. I thought it was going to be exciting.
No. So my thought process here, we brought this up a minute ago, was to have Gyllenhaal be my choice here.
Mm-hmm.
I could easily see it happening. Kushner's a challenger here for sure. But yeah, I don't think when I'm going to go against Campion in director, I'm not going to go against Campion in screenplay. Not right now.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be a case where, like, if Gyllenhaal should be a surprise Oscar winner here, she would be the Jeffrey Fletcher to Campion's Jason Reitman, where it's like
Yep.
Campion literally wins everything but that, like Reitman did.
Again, we don't need to bring up old wounds, good sir.
I've got a choice I'm pretty confident in for original, which is actually surprising.
I know.
Not a surprising choice, but surprising to me that it's as easy as it feels like it is.
Okay.
For original, we have Licorice Pizza, King Richard, Belfast, Don't Look Up, and Being the Ricardos. Once again, there was a time where I feel like Belfast had this easily.
Yeah.
When Belfast was the picture frontrunner for that period that it was after TIFF, I would have easily said Branagh here.
Seems so long ago, doesn't it?
But we've been saying that Licorice Pizza feels like it didn't really have an immediate peak in the season.
Nope.
Like, it's just kind of been steadily rolling along up to this point. When there's not a clear frontrunner despite popular belief. So for here, I am going to say Paul Thomas Anderson.
Ashley.
PTA.
But once again, don't doubt Branagh,
Of course.
and to a lesser extent, don't doubt Aaron Sorkin.
I'm going to doubt Aaron Sorkin. I'll do it for you.
But if they go for King Richard as much as they do, does Balin go along?
Maybe?
I doubt it, but it's pop. PTA.
I think he's more likely than Sorkin.
I'm
Oh.
just wondering, in terms of Academy rather than critics, whether it's satirical enough that Don't Look Up might somehow have more of a chance than it does, like in these other ones.
I'm seeing.
I would say it's anything. If there's an aspect of the movie that people are mad at, it's the writing in the sense of how a lot of people think it's like pompous. I wonder how many points against it that would be.
That's why I'm not putting it in terms of the critics front. But the people themselves, like WGA, they might like love it. You know?
It could easily be an industry movie, especially since Vice did so well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the acting categories.
Yes.
I feel like these went by so much faster than TV did. All right, supporting actress. This would have been difficult a little while back, but I feel like a frontrunner has come forward.
Yeah.
We have Katrina Bell for Belfast, Ariana DeBose for West Side Story, Anne Dowd for Mask, Kirsten Dunst for Power of the Dog, Ingenue Ellis for King Richard, and Rita Moreno for West Side Story. So it's a bloodbath getting into this category, but Ariana DeBose seems to really be breaking out in a big way. So I am going with her.
Ashley.
Yeah, I'm going to Bose as well.
I think that this is probably the big West Side Story victory of the night, and I feel that pretty much written in the stars at this point.
Deja vu, of course. Supporting actor. Should be pretty easy depending on how you look at it.
Right.
You have Jamie Dornan and Kieran Hines for Belfast, Troy Coates for Coda, Jared Leto for House of Gucci, J.K. Simmons for Being the Ricardos, and Cousin McPhee for The Power of the Dog. And of course, Critics' Choice is trying to be what they think the Oscars are going to be. So, right now, a lot of people are probably thinking it looks like Cousin McPhee all day, every day. But we just had that previous conversation in the last prediction video about their penchant for going against young actors.
Yep.
So I feel like the Oscar battle is between Kieran Hines and Troy Coates. But here, I think they'll go with Cousin McPhee pretty clearly because they don't. Their Critics' Choice won't think ahead like that. They'll think, oh, what's got momentum right now? That's what we're going with.
All right. Ashley.
It's annoying because I want to say Jared Leto because the critics are idiots. But I'm saying Cody Smith McPhee because please let there be justice in the world. Please let something that isn't
There
Jared
are
Leto win. Please.
there are a couple of people that I know whose opinions I respect more than anybody else's. And both of these people genuinely, unironically loved Leto. And I'm still trying to figure out how I feel about that.
Well, if you look at the six, Leto and Simmons are the only ones that have previously won before. It's difficult because part of me wants to go with Belfast here, but yeah, it doesn't seem like it's a good idea at this point. I'm going with Cody Smith McPhee.
Just look up Kieran and see whether he's even been nominated for major awards before.
I don't know what it would even be if he was like it's weird how he's like always been there in all these prestigious projects and he's always been great. Yet he hasn't like had a breakout role like this.
Yeah.
The
The only stuff I'm
closest
seeing
like
is like the Irish Film and TV Awards. He was nominated as. Where was he nominated for Best Actor in Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy? When arguably he was bloody supporting. Okay.
are they one of those places that combine the categories or something?
Well, he was also in supporting actor for something else as well, so it's like, okay. And then technically he won as behind the Voice Actors Awards for Best Vocal Ensemble for Frozen. Was he Elsa and Anna's dad in the original Frozen?
He might have been one of the rock. He might have been one of like the rock people or something. I don't remember at all.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I do not. You would not. It's almost impossible how much I don't give a shit about Frozen, and how much it goes in and out of my head. As soon as it's in there, it's gone.
Yeah, the Grand Pabble. So yeah, it's probably one of the stone people. I completely forgot he was in First Man. Oh, and of course he was
What?
Steppenwolf in Justice League. Dear God.
Yeah. Because even he was one of the people calling for the Snyder Cut. It was insane.
Crazy son of a bitch.
Are we going to actress?
We are going to actress.
Well, this will be quick and easy.
Yep.
We got Chastain for The Eyes of Tammy Faye, Olivia Colman for The Lost Daughter, Lady Gaga for House of Gucci, Alana Haim for Licorice Pizza, Nicole Kidman for Being the Ricardos, and Kristen Stewart for Spencer. Is anybody not saying Kristen Stewart?
The only time I'm going to go against Licorice Pizza.
Okay, that's the only time I was wondering Owen's going to go against it. Oh wait, he is. Yeah,
No,
I
this
think
is Stewart's.
because it's critics, I think this is probably case use. But I'd like to see them go give it to. I mean, if anything, the closest challenger might actually be Coleman rather than Alana.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Chastain?
I'm really afraid Chastain's fighting for her life for this nomination.
She might be.
There's a chance. The problem is, it's like Jessica Chastain has now become to some extent, the Meryl Streep and the Jennifer Lawrence. It's like they're gonna be in there
Well,
practically every time that they can.
there's two things in particular working against Chastain, and that's the reception of the movie itself, and that it came out a lot earlier than these,
Mm-hmm.
which is unfortunate because she's incredible.
Also, coming 355.
Yeah,
Ooh,
literally
I'm
like the
looking forward
only
to
thing.
that. I just have fears because it's oh, what's his name? Is it Millennium Pictures? Didn't want your food then.
Are we on actor?
We are. Oh, real quick before we go into chat, I missed a lot of things here. Brian says, "Power of the Dog." Take a shot. I hope we don't go to boring race again in all four acting categories like 2017 and 2019. Hate the first Frozen. The sequel was a bit better. The best thing about both films is Anna. Take a shot. Anna, long day. Hi, Josie. Hey guys, sorry I'm late to the game. Had a bit of headache tonight. Well, Ashley fell asleep before the show started, so we're all good to go tonight. Josie says, I'm scared about that too. I've been scripting out different possibilities to manifest different winners at each ceremony. Interesting.
I've just looked at 355. It somehow is universal, but the fact that it was actually supposed to come out literally 12 months ago, they changed nothing for it.
It's just pissing me off because I keep refreshing the Fandango page hoping Licorice Pizza shows up. And it's like, who wants the 355? Why is it taking up a theater? Why is it here?
Why is there 700 theaters?
Considering it's going to be on Peacock 45 days after as well.
Help me with Power.
I really love that lineup of actresses. I do. But who wants a movie like the 355 during awards season? When Macbeth is still floating around out there. Should we go into actor?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. We got Nicolas Cage for Pig, Benedict Cumberbatch for Power of the Dog, Peter Dinklage for Cyrano, Andrew Garfield for Tick Tick Boom, Will Smith for King Richard, and Denzel for Macbeth. I could actually see Cumberbatch taking this from this group, but this is usually where the races start.
Yep.
Like where it's like the beginning of the end of the obvious one, what Brian was just talking about. And we've all been saying that it's going to be Will Smith's to lose, even though he's not been raking in a lot of critics awards. Most of those are Cumberbatch, I think. Will Smith's got to start somewhere, and it's going to be with the first televised one. So I'm saying Will Smith.
Ashley.
Cumberbatch.
Now, talking about Nick Cage, which I know AJ will get into soon enough. Spoiler alert. I will say right now that I finally saw the trailer for The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. That trailer looks incredible. The literal Nick Cage as Nick Cage movie. And
Did I see right on its IMDb page that to differentiate that he's a fictional version of himself, Nick is Nick?
Yeah.
I don't know why that one detail is so amazing to me.
Like the Ric Flair thing with people using the K at the end when that's not a thing.
Yeah.
Speaking of not a thing, Will Smith not losing this. So here's the thing. So it's critics. I easily see where AJ's coming from, where Ashley's coming from. I'd also want to throw out a third option of Andrew Garfield getting this.
That would be amazing.
It's not going to happen. But I do want to throw that option out. And Peter Dinklage is always a challenger as well. Honestly, given the fact that I've played devil's advocate and tugged with AJ so many times when it comes to this last couple podcasts about saying Denzel was going to miss, I honestly
first off, phrasing. Secondly,
basically, I've messed with your mind to the fact that I've played devil's advocate to the fact that I said Denzel could possibly miss here. I don't think it's going to happen. I just put it into the world because just to play devil's advocate. That being said, he could actually win this.
I was going to say, if you're about to rule out Denzel once again for the second time tonight.
I was just thinking about Keanu Reeves and Al Pacino. I don't know why.
Here's the best thing, AJ. You're about ready to make a John Peters reference when you haven't seen the Licorice Pizza yet.
Streisand.
That's amazing. Yeah, this got to be Will Smith here, and AJ's right. This is when it starts. Now, granted, this award may not mean as much, but like I said, that wonderful word I throw out every single day, and I'll throw out many times more in the season: visibility, and the fact that winning this award is going to start propelling more and more and more, and the train keeps rolling, and Will Smith is your victor in the end. So yeah, Will Smith.
This next one's another interesting one where there's a clear, obvious choice, but I don't completely know that I want to go with it.
Right.
For director, we have Paul Thomas Anderson, Kenneth Branagh, Jane Campion, Del Toro, Spielberg, Denis Villeneuve. Honestly, when we were talking about director and I was talking about my fear that Villeneuve's going to get snubbed, I had said that Villeneuve should be running away with it by a large margin.
Okay.
Even though I'm all in on Dune as far as what I want. Me saying that was undermining Branagh a little bit.
Yeah.
Because Branagh deserves this almost just as much. Obviously, the obvious choice is Campion.
Yeah.
Campion's wiping the floor with the Critics Awards. People have been building her up this whole time. But there's this thing we've been talking about with Licorice Pizza. Where I just keep coming back to it. It's almost like a when in doubt option. Or if there's too many options and it seems like too many things, maybe, possibly, it's Licorice Pizza.
Yeah.
That's kind of what original screenplay turned into until it finally got to the point to where I feel like Licorice Pizza is the front runner in original. So once again, we're doing this thing where if the televised awards are going to start shifting away from the Critics Awards, which happens a lot of the time, this is the starting point.
Yep.
So if somebody is eventually going to dethrone Campion, if you think that might happen, it might start here. As much as we've been, saying that Critics' Choice just follows the leader.
Sure.
If they want to be the Globes, they got to pick up the pace, because say what you will about the Globes, they were always the ones that derailed races and got them in a different direction.
And
They can set the trend.
And from what we
Anyway,
can tell, the Globes are still happening this weekend.
Not that anybody will know, but they'll be there.
Yeah, I don't know how me and AJ are going to cover it on Sunday or Monday. It'll be like, we can't watch it. Like,
It's like if the Globes happen in the forest and nobody's there to know, did they happen? I don't know. There'll be some results somewhere. This is a lot of speaking to just kind of come back to Campion, but it's like we were saying, where's Spielberg in this?
Yeah, it's true.
Is he right there?
He could be.
Because I'm leaning towards this Licorice Pizza thing, but I would say Spielberg before I would say PTA probably. So I guess really it's down to Campion and Spielberg. And like I said, Campion's the really easy choice. Like if you just want to get this over with, you would say Campion and call it a day. So I don't know. I kind of want to say Spielberg, actually. I really want to say Branagh, but I'll go the. I can see it in my head. I'll go the really easy route and say Campion. I might as well, but that kind of goes into what I want to talk about in the next category. What I want to say in the next category is something I've already said, but I just want to solidify that thought.
All right. Ashley, what do you got?
It's critics. Spielberg.
Okay. Josie has some comments in chat. So pertaining to what Brian said earlier, I'm scared about that too. I've been scripting out different possibilities to manifest different winners in each categories. Not to mention the 355 is being released in Dumpuary. Scream on line 1. Anyway, Josie says, I saw Licorice Pizza last Monday during last week's podcast. Sorry, guys. Hey, I have zero problems. If you're watching the best movie of the year, go right ahead. Wonderful. My mom and I both loved it. Fantastic. My favorite of the season next to Power of the Dog. Brian says the reason why Campion still would be out front because they want to see a female director win back-to-back years. Fair. Especially when we have another big year for female-directed movie. Josie says, I think Licorice Pizza has a stronger chance to win the original screenplay than director. If any other director besides Campion wins, I think it'll be Denis Villeneuve. Sorry, AJ, that's for you. No, not saying you're wrong, just my prediction. Harkening back to what Brian said, Spielberg is a strong possibility. Can't see a world where any of these directors can win. Very true. Yeah. At this point, I might as well just ride it out. It's not American Hustle, because I know it's at least going to win something. Licorice Pizza. Yay.
All right. Should we talk about picture?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Guess we'll go through the nominees first. We got Belfast, Coda, Don't Look Up, Dune, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, Power of the Dog, Tick Tick Boom, and West Side Story.
Right.
It could be West Side Story. Pretty easily, actually. Could obviously be Power of the Dog. There's other thing we were talking about Licorice Pizza, where something needs a jumping off point.
Yep.
Because it is also worth noting, another thing I kind of have to backpedal on just a little bit, was we were talking about how the Globes and televised awards usually start off a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
What can also tend to happen is the Critics Awards go one direction, the televised awards go another direction, and then the guilds start something else entirely.
Completely agreed.
What I've said before that I just want to get out there again, even though it should really be obvious, is I'm going to go ahead and just say the Power of the Dog for Critics' Choice. But it's so weird to me just how much of a frontrunner people have it as. Because, like I said, we've already had this thing going on about them warming up to Netflix.
Mhm.
And if my picture nominee predictions from the last video are any indication, they're going to have really warmed up to Netflix for 4 of its movies to be in contention. But the whole thing about being, and not only that we had the pandemic and all the theaters closing and stuff like that, but the fact that it almost seems like we're getting ready to circle back around to that. Everybody's talking about in the industry how important it is, how important theaters are, and going to theaters and all that stuff. And it's like, amidst all of this, if there's one year where I feel like they would not want to reward Netflix,
Oh yeah.
or any streaming service for that matter, this would be that year, which makes me leaning towards like West Side Story and Licorice Pizza being eventually bigger players.
Yep.
Because they were exclusively theaters, which is what they're gonna want to put over. So it's like in this year of all years, it is weird to me how fixated on the idea people are of the Power of the Dog being the big winner at the end of the season. I said I can see it happening here, but I feel like if this is where this continues for a while, that guild turn will be coming, and they're gonna go West Side Story or Licorice Pizza, and we'll start seeing that. And probably if Licorice Pizza or West Side Story were to win, their directors would probably follow. I would think Campion is still very much in it, and we've seen with stuff like Quaron where if you've got enough momentum, having a streaming movie will not matter. You can still win director pretty easily.
Yep.
But yeah. So like I said, I'm gonna stick with this Power of the Dog thing now, but I don't think this Power of the Dog thing is gonna stick as much as it looks like it might. So that's that.
You just ended a show, AJ.
Yeah.
Literally. Ashley, what do you got?
Sony delayed Morbius again. Great.
Are you serious?
Yeah. January the 28th now is April the 1st.
So that date tells me it's a joke.
That's the irony. Also, Power of the Dog.
Chat says, Josie goes, Campion, I think, is certainly their directing frontrunner. She's not as much of a slam dunk as Zhao was last season. Which film this year do you think is going to pull an Irishman, Trial, Chicago 7, or American Hustle and get a bunch of nods and not win anything?
I'm terrified it's going to be Belfast. I
Maybe look through
really.
the Critics' Choice Awards and the Satellite Awards.
Well, actually, depending on how much they go in on it, Don't Look Up could be that movie pretty easily. But
Yeah, it's very possible.
if they go on it, if they go in on it as hard as they went for Vice,
Possibly.
but there's no. I mean, there's.
Possibly Nightmare Alley.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it might be Nightmare Alley or House of Gucci.
But if you're on my train, I don't have Nightmare Alley or House of Gucci in any above the line categories.
I don't either, but it doesn't mean it won't happen.
Yeah. I think that's my answer. I'm very, very scared it's going to be Belfast.
I hope not. At least I know that the horse I have in the race this year is not something that I see it's gonna lose. It's gonna win at least one thing, and I'm good with that. It needs to do better than just winning one thing, though. It needs to go all the way. Brian says, I'm looking at Belfast, West Side Story, and Licorice Pizza. Josie says, Power of the Dog is way too good for Netflix. I wish it was another studio.
It feels like another studio.
Also, she says, it's the one film I wish I watched at home I wish I saw on a big screen. I wish The Power of the Dog was a Paramount for alliteration. I'll shoot with you, Josie. The reason why I've not seen Power of the Dog is I'm waiting to see it theatrically. That's why I have not seen Power of the Dog. That's why I've not seen Tick, Tick, Boom when I could watch both right now if I wanted to. I'm not going to let my first viewing of movies that could easily be picture main contenders be something that I watch on my television. I just don't do things that way. And if I have to force myself to do it, then I will. But I'm not trying to do that.
Did you manage to see Coda in a theater then?
Code is not on my radar right now. It's not a picture nominee that I'm seeing at this point, and I don't see it anywhere. Lost Daughter, I have somewhat access to in California, but not really. So we'll see if it gets a theatrical run. I hope it does. Brian says, speaking of nominations, based on my nomination predictions, I have Belfast and Dune getting the most nominations with 10. I don't know, AJ, I'm not trying to rain on your parade at all this show, even though it seems like I am, but I feel like the movie that has the most to lose and getting the most nominations would be Dune. I can't really see many awards it's going to walk away with overall. Maybe a lot of tech awards, but nothing major.
So it should be Mad Maxing the tech awards, but I'm starting to think that won't happen with fucking West Side Story in here and Cruella being a threatened costumes.
Yeah, I'd never bet against Disney when it comes to costumes. At least to get a nomination. Josie says it could very well be Belfast. We don't want to see that happen, but it could happen. Brian says Nightmare Alley is basically like First Man in News of the World.
That's pretty accurate, I think.
Accurate prediction there. All right, so this takes a little explanation. As I go in through the list of picture nominees, I'm not going with Power of the Dog here. I mean, I can see where it could happen. Part of me wants to go King Richard here, honestly. It really does.
That threw a wrench in this.
That's something that I could see the critics going for. Belfast would be nice. I wouldn't mind that. I talked about Garfield. What if we get a surprise win for Tick, Tick, Boom? Obviously, my heart says Licorice Pizza, and I want to go with it. But then I got that West Side Story tick in the back of my head, thinking that I can easily see West Side Story winning the Critics Award. And last time around, Nomadland won, but the time before that was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So it could either be the picture winner, or it can be the movie that should have won picture that didn't. So if I go with Licorice Pizza, I may be saying either A, it's going to win Best Picture and I'll be happy, or B, it's going to job out and I'm going to be sad. So, what? I want to go Licorice Pizza, but I feel like the critics' choice is going to go with West Side Story. So that's what I'm going to go with.
Extremely possible.
I know. Jazzy says, good for you, dude, about not letting those films be at-home watches. I can't watch movies at home unless I'm absolutely forced to. I lived way too many years watching movies on my computer. I cannot do this with picture winners or nominees anymore, if I can help it.
Yeah. It really pains me. I think
The Hurt Locker.
I think the last time. Don't even mention The Hurt Locker. That's too painful.
Freaking Hurt Locker.
We had 3 fucking opportunities to see The Hurt Locker in a theater, but it was so early in the year, it was like, oh, that's not going to be an Oscar movie or anything. It's too early. And it didn't win the Spirit Award.
The Wrestler beat The Hurt Locker. That's all you need to know.
I think the last time I saw all the nominees theatrically was 2016. And that's too long ago.
I don't know, AJ, you know things a little bit better than I do. I mean, I've been doing this whole, obviously I live in a bigger city, and I've been doing, these Oscar rewatches and everything like that, during the last several seasons. I've been very fortunate that as long as it came to a theater, I've had pretty much access to it. The movies that are on Netflix, AMC, will generally not play them, so I have to go to, the Cinemark or down, walk to it to get there. I have a Cinemark theater is the only theater I can go to outside of the AMC that I normally go to. So it's it's difficult, but it's something that I'm trying to do the best I can at throughout the seasons. AJ, can you think of anything I've missed recently that's been nominated for picture that was in a theater?
I don't remember you ever seeing Dunkirk.
Did I? I'm trying to remember what year that was.
I was sitting here trying to remember. I was trying to remember what I missed in 2017. Did I see all of 2017? Did I see it?
No, I saw Well, hold on. I'm looking at them right now because I had Movie Pass. Yes, I watched Dunkirk.
Okay.
I told you I wasn't. I didn't. I told you I was kind of like, by it.
I don't remember you saying anything at all. That might have been what threw me off.
Like, Dunkirk and Darkest Hour are my least favorite of that lineup. Actually,
Darkest Hour is so much better on rewatch.
I need to get that. And obviously, 2018, I watched a couple of those theatrically, but then we went back into this whole podcast where I talked about all of the about doing them, and then got to see everything theatrically in 2019, and everything theatrically.
The only thing I missed for 2019 was the fucking Netflix movies.
Thank God I had the theater that had access to them. It didn't let me have a rewatch of it, but I got to watch it once. So that's like having to go not out of town, but away from the normal theater I go to go see Mank because it was playing at a theater that I had to walk to versus being able to see everything else in the theaters around me.
I hate everybody. Sorry, Ashley, I think you're involved in this. I hate everybody that got to see The Irishman in a theater.
It was, I think it was on maybe Red, but because it was London Film Festival and it wasn't like super, because normally with the gala ones it's like an extra £10 or £15, but this time it was just the regular price. I was like, considering it's a 3.5-hour film and not like something that's normally at the art house place, which is sort of like 90 minutes to 1 3/4 hours, it's like I'm getting my money's worth. I might as well.
Despite popular belief, despite people's bullshit opinions, I'm sorry to anybody that feels that way, but it's that movie is the perfect length.
You know, I looking over in the 2019 list. Yeah, of course I missed out on Irishman as well because it never came to a theater. But I mean, it captivated me falling asleep at movies I like because I get tired. It captivated me to the point that I stayed awake during it. I watched it intently, sitting on the edge of my seat, and I did not move. I did not go to the bathroom. I did not stop it for any reason. I watched the movie in its entirety, and I cannot say that fairly often about anything that I'm watching at home.
There is one point to be had from the people that said you could cut out an hour of De Niro and Pesci checking into hotels. I can kind of see where that's coming from, but I still think I just love that. I just love that movie so much. Just the whole fucking thing. Even like, okay, I don't like the convenience store scene either with the old man kicking and the weird movement, and the CGI glass. But I mean, that's 10 seconds of a 3.5-hour movie that's a masterpiece. Go fuck yourself.
So, oh god, we got a lot of chat comments now. I missed out on that one. I definitely see Dune winning score, sound, and possibly makeup and production design. I could see cinematography going to West Side Story or Power of the Dog. Power of the Dog could win cinematography for the narrative of a female cinematographer. Though, if I'm not mistaken, she's non-binary. I could be wrong. This is all from Jezzy. Brian says, speaking of The Lost Daughter, I put Buckley in supporting actress and snubbed Ellis in Lost.
What was that?
That's what Brian said. Speaking of The Lost Daughter, I put Buckley in supporting... Take a shot. Jesus. Speaking of The Lost Daughter, I put Buckley in supporting actress and snubbed Ellis and The Lost Daughter in picture. Josie also saw The Irishman in the theater. Brian said, I didn't see The Irishman until after the award season. Which categories of Critics' Choice are most likely to tie?
Something in TV, probably.
Most likely. Oh, Brian, actually.
Yeah. Probably one of those categories. Possibly also maybe one of the techs.
Oh, give me a tie for Best Picture for Licorice Pizza and West Side Story and see what we got. That'd be great. I'd love that.
With how close it is, I wouldn't be surprised if cinematography has it.
Yeah. Brian continues what he said about snubbing Ellis and for Buckley and Lost Daughter and Picture over Cyrano, putting Mass and Original over A Hero, and Haim and Actress over Tessa Thompson.
That sounds a lot like mine.
Josie's like, chance of Coda winning Picture a Critics' Choice.
If it had come out later, that would probably help.
Yeah,
I can't even remember how long ago
but...
Coda came out. I feel like Coda was forever ago.
As Ashley puts it up here, so Josie said, out of all the Netflix prestige originals, Power of the Dog is my favorite of them. I think it's better than The Irishman, Marriage Story, and Roma. Again, my argument that Power of the Dog is too good for Netflix. I do love The Irishman, though, but no Netflix original film for me tops Power of the Dog.
It probably feels older
That's
because
fair.
all the buzz that Coda was getting was end of January for Sundance, but it came out on Apple like mid-August.
Like I was saying before, like there is another like pandemic-less period where Coda is this massive crowd pleaser on the scale of like My Big Fat Greek Wedding. And it's a shame that it's in this timeline.
Now this conversation makes me just want to say screw it and just choose my take a shot, change my Critics' Choice prediction of Picture to Licorice Pizza. Yeah, why?
Well,
Why
I mean,
not?
you go last, so technically there's no cutoff period for you to when you can't go back.
Exactly.
Because like once we go to Ashley, I'm done.
It's true.
Oh god. So I'm looking through this
what
film
can I-
news, and I was only just finding out that there's a season 2 of Space Force coming next month. Okay.
Now watch what happens as West Side Story wins. And I'm like, I called it first. I'm just with my heart dead.
Yeah, doesn't mean I have to agree with it. I'll just nod and say,
If I'm gonna go all in on Licorice Pizza, then so be it. It deserves everything it wins.
Well, if you get that point, it's got a little asterisk next to it. Just so you know.
I'm totally fine with that.
Is that it?
That's it. So, lots of things going down. We've got a lot. For those of you that are watching the network on the regular, we're going to catch up eventually. We're not as bad behind as we were. We're missing about 10 videos at this point to get us caught up to where we are today, even the video technically for January 3rd.
Yeah, I'm still putting together my worst of the year video, and I've been so busy on that. I haven't even watched The Lost Daughter yet, which is really kind of embarrassing.
Because it might be a contender for worst of the year. I mean, it won't, but
I don't know. I, Tonya almost made my list for the worst of 2017, so anything's possible from an acclaimed movie. It was really fucking close, too. I
love that movie.
God damn that movie. I hate it so much.
Well, considering how...
And Gillespie's still up to his same bullshit in Cruella. He made that movie exactly the same way, just less R-rated. Him and his stupid soundtracks are worse than Suicide Squad. Or Suicide Squad. But we don't have to smash I, Tonya anymore now. We can move on.
No. So Ashley and AJ, card subject to a change. Card subject to be announced. They should be joining you guys and girls out there for Critics' Choice Globe ? This week, maybe.
Well, from what I can tell, the Globes are happening because they're just going to be, I guess, announced rather than be. In which case, whether we'll have to talk about this afterwards, but I'm proposing maybe me and AJ do a live reactions as they're announced, which is weird. You know,
God, I'd love to be a part
like
of
in
this.
the old-fashioned way,
Yeah.
where we're just listening for the person to come up to the microphone at the Oscars because the ceremony only went 12 minutes, and they just announce who's won.
That's probably the only way to do the Globes in an entertaining way.
But at the
That
same
might be our
time,
only option.
I don't know when they're announcing them. Their Twitter account only went alive today after being off for 2 weeks because of Christmas and New Year. We still don't know whether they're even going to maybe even have some sort of video thing that they're going to put up announcing them.
It's the least they could do.
Because at this point, it's like there's enough of a clamor to get something film related. Maybe all of a sudden somebody's gonna, even if it's a live YouTube stream, something might happen. I don't know. Because the fact that
At the very least,
the fact that the satellite awards literally got kicked down from January the 5th to, I think on the website it says March 18th, and Critics' Choice is still to be confirmed.
so they should at least put up some kind of video feed, because at the very least, Chastain and Cynthia Erivo will be watching, apparently. Give them a little something.
So more information coming very soon. So real quick, more chat information real quick. Josie says, in my head, I like to say Power of the Dog is not a Netflix picture, but a BBC film on Netflix.
Don't get me started on that. I was just looking into what Kieran Hines' next big thing is, and it's a thing called The English from
Yes, it is.
writer
Yes.
Hugo Blick from like loads of good comedy stuff, who I didn't even know until I looked at his Wikipedia page. He was the young Jack Napier in the original Batman.
Wow.
Well, then.
Yeah. Like, what? I was this years old when I found that out.
Unbelievable. Josie says, love to see Licorice Pizza to win. Same. Always sad to see the show end. Excited for the next one. Well, we're glad to have everybody back. We're glad to have you joining us. Hopefully your headache feels better. Brian says, you defend AJ that if Greta Gerwig directed I, Tonya.
What?
I don't know. I just go with what that says.
Say that again?
You defend AJ that if Greta Gerwig directed I, Tonya.
Would I defend I, Tonya if Greta Gerwig had directed it?
I don't know. Brian, elaborate.
I don't care for Greta Gerwig as a director either. I don't know where that's going.
Everybody knows my stance on Greta Gerwig.
If it
Obvious.
was,
That's a question. That's more of a question for you.
if it was Paul Thomas Anderson directing I, Tonya.
Well, that would have been great for me because of the fact that I love the Tonya Harding story and I loved every second of it. So having somebody I like, respect, and to be honest, find extremely attractive, be the director of a story that I'm very familiar with, yeah, that'd be pretty awesome, actually.
Because to me, PTA doing, well, there would be no point in PTA doing I, Tonya because he made, I don't want to compare them directly, but like Boogie Nights, but it's that sort of kind of seedy underbelly stuff.
Yeah.
That PTA is good at, what with Hard Eight, and even There Will Be Blood had obviously the seedy underbelly sort of Plainview, and then of course, however you feel about Scientology with the Master.
I was gonna say it's funny that Boogie Nights is a lot darker than I, Tonya, since I, Tonya is a real story, but technically Boogie Nights is the Wonderland thing, so
Yeah.
it's also kind of pretty real.
That's a very good point. Do we think that the Oscars are going to be delayed?
as of right now, I would say it sounds like we're headed in that direction, but
In
because
all
all of this
honesty,
always ends up happening so fast.
I think they could just. I know it's not the same, but if you zoom it, but actually like plan as to how you make it elaborate, despite it being on zoom, there's a definite chance.
Yeah, because I would, like I was saying before, I would very much prefer, and this is probably selfish on my part, but I would much prefer they wait until they can really do a show rather than having to go a lot virtual. But and I feel like that'd be good for the winners also, because who wants? I mean, I know the Emmys went surprisingly well last year, but it's still like, who wants to win an Oscar in their living room or in their fucking
Anthony
study?
Hopkins, because it
And
literally happened.
more chat. Good lord. So as you said, I don't honestly wouldn't mind, given how packed the schedule it is, if it would give some people some time to catch up on stuff. Hines also is in the sequel to Happiness, Life During Wartime. It's okay, not as good as Happiness, but he gives a great performance. And Josie asked if anyone has seen Happiness, which I'm pretty sure AJ has.
Massive fan.
Yes.
Dylan Baker's performance in that is so fucking crazy. I love it so much. It is so revolting. You have to take like 10 fucking showers after seeing that movie, but it's amazing.
Oh God.
Todd Solondz in general is a very underappreciated director. The dude's fucking nuts in the best way.
And Brian elaborates. You said in the Critics' Choice predictions for the films of 2017, Owen predicted Margot Robbie for actress in a comedy. He said AJ, the movie would have been downplayed. I made a joke of you defending Greta, and Josie says I'm a Gerwig detractor as well.
How do you fuck up Little Women? You can't.
I didn't mind it. Blame my bias, if you will, and I'm sure you will, but I didn't mind it. It didn't make me fall asleep, and period piece movies usually do that to me.
We'll see what she does. I'm intrigued to see what she does with Barbie.
But that's our go home. 2.5 hours. It's time to take it home. So yeah, more news coming on the Popcast Network Twitter feed. I'll post something, even though I'm going to be in California. I can still like chat back with you guys, and I will. So I don't know if I will be on the shows per se, but if I'm able to, I'll try to chime in if possible. I've got some sweet Wi-Fi at the hotels, so I mean, we'll see how that works. It depends on what I'm doing at the time. So we're trying slowly but surely, like we alluded to, catch up on the network. I got 3 sipping snacks I still have not put up yet. I have a buttload of Water Parks videos. I have a buttload of Voices videos. I am not touching either of the above until we get to January at this point. So we're kind of waiting on a couple videos before we can move into 2022. Josie says Dylan Baker is amazing in Happiness in all caps.
Yes.
I nearly fainted after watching it. There we go. So yeah, that's your show, everyone. Favorite Salon's film?
I'm pretty sure it's Happiness, but I love Welcome to the Dollhouse also.
Oh yeah, I actually like that movie too.
And I love that idea of him doing unconventional sequels to his own movies with Life During Wartime for Happiness and Wiener Dog for Welcome to the Dollhouse. He's such a cool director. Like, I love the stuff that he does as far as like being so unconventional, and I love it.
How do you F up Little Women? Make the screenplay a women's studies textbook.
I'm not saying anything.
I'm just gonna slink over here with my major mark Oscar, and we'll be good to go. So Ashley can be found on this network periodically. You have some more snack stashes coming. I'm sure there's more gaming content eventually. and other videos coming in the near future. So that'll be coming your way. At Ash is my name UK is how you reach him on the Twitterverse. AJ, of course, as always, cannot be found on social media, and you can say it with me right now. I'm sure Brian is. Cannot be killed by conventional weapons. Needless to say, you can also leave a comment on any video, and AJ will get back to you in a nice little retrospect video, like a year down the line. So,
Unless you're Sean Baker, then I will get right back to you.
yes, AJ is waiting. Yeah, anybody that's Sean Baker on your speed dial or have access to Sean Baker, put him in contact with me, and I will get him in contact with AJ.
I was going to say, considering how Morbius has been delayed for a 7th time and it's never coming out, isn't Morbius something that cannot be killed by conventional weapons? Because it keeps going and going.
That's fair. Follow me on Twitter if you like at Sir Owen Disney. And I will be in California starting on Thursday until the 17th. And then I'll still be reachable. I'll be back here like for a week, and then I'll go back to work after that. And hopefully feet don't fail me now, but we'll see if that ends up happening or not. Fingers crossed for the best. So that's the show for tonight. Thanks everyone for joining us, whether live or in archive. Thank you to Brian. Thank you to Josie for chiming in. And also, don't want to take a shot. Cassie chimed in, and binaural Dean came in again. So everyone else, thank you for joining us. If you didn't chat in chat, still cool that you guys and girls out there got to join us tonight. So thank you again for being with us on a Monday night. And that's going to be your show for tonight. And I want to thank all you guys and girls out there for watching. More awards content coming very soon. More AJ content coming soon. More Ashley content coming soon. And more of my content coming soon. So until tomorrow, boys and girls, get well, Danhausen. Stream greatest hits. And that's all we got to say about that.
Where's my fucking gold, Jeff? You promised me with your Global Force gold. Where is it, you son of a bitch?
Ashley is fine.